Welcome back to another podcast, and we are back to talk about The Bachelorette.
Boop, boop.
First and foremost, I want to say happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
If I sound extra, it's because I'm being extra today. Like everybody was being extra in this episode. You know what I'm saying? Today was, a really great episode. Today was like exactly what I needed. It was a good mix of comedy and like serious and like comedy and Bennett and comedy.
And Bennett, who was in it to win it.
Bennett, who was in it to win it. Bennett, who was coming at you with the bananas, with the correcting your understanding that there are 4 levels of emotional intelligence. Just so you know, don't insult my intelligence, Derek.
No,
if any,
don't
JP.
insult my intelligence, Josh.
Bennett could have truly stood up to Derek and said, don't insult my intelligence, Derek. Do you know what school I went to? I went to Harvard. Okay.
Oh my God.
He would have to lay the respect on him. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
Our guy Bennett, he didn't have a good time last episode. Last episode, he got showed up. They made him look dumb. They made him look like he didn't know 2 + 2 knowing anything. They made him look like he didn't know how to spell. Like he couldn't even spell limousine. You know what? Today, Bennett came back to let you know he is smart. Okay, he is intelligent. Okay, and not only that, he knows the 4 levels of emotional intelligence, and do not make him put you in your place. Okay.
Seriously.
Okay. Now, that was the best way to get into this. Also, I see a love triangle forming between Ed, Chris Harrison, and Tayshia. I'm calling it right now. Okay, I'm just saying.
Wow.
Okay, Ed described. Let me point out reasons for you why Ed may be in love with Chris and not Tayshia, okay? Exhibit A. Not once has he told Tayshia that being with her was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He sat down with Chris Harrison and said it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Not once has Ed been able to make it into Tayshia's El Presidente suite. Well, whose room did Ed make it into today? Okay, let me tell you, it was Chris Harrison.
Yes,
I'm just saying, Tayshia, she got some competition.
Yes, she does.
It's not the previous Bachelorette. It's Chris Harrison you got to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Just putting it out there.
Just putting it out there. Okay.
Don't say we were wrong when it happens.
I'm just saying, Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So shall we get into the
The
actual, like, breaking down the episode?
Bachelorette.
Bachelorette, not Chris Harrison. Okay. In case you forgot why you were here, it was for Tayshia.
Derek.
Don't insult my intelligence, Derek.
Derek.
Or who is he talking to? Noah. Okay, so we picked up this episode right where we left off. The guys were heated about the wrestling match. They cannot comprehend in their brains how Noah could think it was okay to accept an open invitation for any guy to just jump in and wrestle Chasen, and that Noah would take that opportunity and jump into the ring. That is unprecedented, okay? But he did it, and he shaved the stash for Tayshia, and now we're back into this episode, picking right up where we left off. The men are angry.
Mm-hmm.
And the part is, they almost feel like they're taking it out on a child because Noah looks now like he is 16 years old.
I know.
So in their adult brains, they're trying to like understand, should I be mad at him or should I not?
In the words of Bennett, I feel like it's a conversation between adults and a 14-year-old. And Josh was looking around like, who's the 14-year-old?
Who's Josh?
What?
You said
Twilight
Josh.
Zone.
You were like, and Josh was like, who?
Yeah, Josh was looking around like,
Who the heck is Josh? There is no Josh. Who is Josh?
the guy who shaved off his mustache.
That's Noah, honey. I was like, who is Josh?
Okay, too much wine.
That guy's name was Noah. There is no Josh. Remember, I said Joah. Noah jumped the fence for Tayshia, okay? He said, I am that Colton. I will jump the fence for you.
Oh my God.
To fight someone. Not because I'm emotionally distressed, but just to fight someone, okay?
So Bennett.
I was like, who is Josh? You mean Noah? Noah, the man who invited one of every species to his ark?
Yes. So he was like looking around the room like, who's the 14-year-old? And Ben is just looking at him like, you. Dude, you. Everybody looked at him like, you? Like, okay.
You're making me look.
Made you look.
What happened this episode? Yeah, guys were mad. There was a group date.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in the group date?
Well,
the guys had to write a song.
I was going to say Josh
That's
again.
right. Oh, I'm sorry.
They had to write a love song.
Excuse my brain. The Bachelor franchise does not want you to forget that Listen to Your Heart happened, okay? They said, you know what? We're going to bring Listen to Your Heart in here. And even Kenny was like, listen to your heart, get it? Because Kenny is the boy band manager, so of course he would have watched Listen to Your Heart. He was like all in that shit. As a matter of fact, he actually originally applied to be on Listen to Your Heart, but ended up getting the Bachelorette instead. And he said, an opportunity is an opportunity, and I will take it, and I'm here for this moment right now. However, he's severely disappointed. He has no musical talent, but it's okay because, you know, he made some rhymes in there. Yeah. I have to say, Blake totally like killed it for me, like killed it, destroyed it in a bad way.
Oh my god!
I was like, "What is going on?"
Little ukulele or whatever that was that he was playing.
He was playing the ukulele, and he was
like,
"Broke it."
And then he was like, "Oh, put it to the side." I don't know what he was doing.
What was he
played
doing?
The what is that, accordion? He played the accordion.
Yeah, I was like, he is not.
He played the little ukulele, and I was like, and she's just looking at him like, man, he is all over the place.
But don't get me wrong. If anybody was gonna play try to play every instrument in one song, of course it was gonna be Blake.
Of course.
Like seriously, who else would have done that? Of course, Blake. It had to be Blake. I was like, yes, you know what? Classic. Blake comes in with the accordion. Of course, he plays the accordion. He can't play that. So he's like, you know what? Let me just try to play every instrument out there. Let me try to break every instrument. Maybe if I break every instrument, there will be nothing left for the other men to play. And then, you know, I'll just be like the coolest because I tried the hardest. That's not what happened. Of course, who was it? Ivan came out and, you know, did a lovely little rap song. Giving me very much like Drake vibes. Mm-hmm. Pulled Tayshia up there, put her on the stool, gave her a Justin Bieber loneliest girl in the world moment. Okay. Yep. Or like, sorry, not loneliest girl in the world. It was one less lonely girl.
Can you come up here on the stage? Because I really need to feel you while I'm doing this.
Like, it sounded like you said, can you come pee on the stage?
Can you come pee on the stage?
Can you come mark your territory real quick? Okay.
That's right. She's mine. She's mine, y'all. She's mine. I got this. I got this. He had it.
Yeah, so he brought Tayshia up. She was like really into it. She was all like staring him in the eyes the whole time.
She's like, oh my god, I'm so in love.
So naturally, Ivan gets the one-on-one date. And they have a very classic date, you know, like every couple on their first date, they just can't wait to play The Floor is Lava. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my gosh, I cannot
That's something
wait.
that you and Albie would do in a room. I swear.
You know what? I thought about it. I sat there and I was like,
I swear.
Is this something Albie and I would do?
Yeah, I was like, you know, that game is just what Albie and Sam would have done in their room.
Maybe. I think this one-on-one date was the classic, like, what does it look like when you stuff couples up in quarantine for an extended period of time and you have to come up with things to do. You start playing with the lava stupid floor. Stuff like The Floor is Lava. You start playing all these different board games and stuff. You order room service. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. That was just a hotel thing. But,
yeah. Wine and more wine and wine. All the wine you got.
Did you see the giant thing of ice cream they brought them? Yes. I was like, dude, why? And then I kind of questioned it for a minute. I was like, would they really bring real ice cream like that in there? But I saw it on the camera. It was melting. It was real ice cream.
Yeah, but it's probably like a big old bucket with another bucket inside flipped over.
You think?
So the ice cream is just sitting on top, making it look like they brought this big old bucket.
Mind blown. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
But now that I think of it, you could be right. I was like, there's no way they would stuff a thing that full of ice cream. Yeah, like, who's going to eat that?
Come on. So all you see is the top melting away.
Yeah. So if you explain it like that, I guess it makes more sense. Because I was like, dang, that would be a lot of ice cream to put to waste, to be honest. And that seems very wasteful.
Faux shizzle.
Yeah. So then they have a more deep talk, you know, about situations in the current climate. They talk about their personal experiences and they connect on a very deep level. They talked about like real stuff. This is like real stuff they talked about. They connected. Mm-hmm. They both got emotional. They both shared.
They got naked.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
They got naked emotionally.
They naked their souls.
they bared their souls out there. And definitely a very deep connection, I feel like, must have been formed over that. Like, that's something that she's always gonna, I think, feel with Ivan. So now, I don't know if I originally placed Ivan in maybe like the ending 3, but I think now I could.
I did. I placed them.
I'm gonna have to go back and play. Like, did I put Ivan in there? I don't know. Did I? Did I?
Because the very first time she met him, you can tell there was like this connection.
Yeah.
And she even said it. She's like, whoa, I feel like this connection with him. I feel like it can go somewhere. So I was like, that's right, girl, Ivan.
So obviously, Ivan got the group date rose. Noted that before he went on the one-on-one, they showed him rolling his suitcase to the door, because like on one-on-ones, they always have to pack their suitcase because just in case. I was like, that
suitcase going right back to his room because he ain't going nowhere, hunty.
Yeah, just in case they don't get the group date. Just in case they don't get the one-on-one date rose. Yeah, if they don't get
like, what was I thinking?
If they don't get the rose on the one-on-one date, they automatically go home. So Alvy was like, why does he have a suitcase? And I was like, oh yeah, that's because, they always do that on the one-on-ones. But I guess for some reason they made it extra apparent for him that he packed a suitcase. Yeah. Anyways, obviously he got the rose. Flash forward. The next part of the episode. Flash forward. The cringy group date. But also the most hilarious group date ever. I was like, oh my gosh. They had the guys paired up and doing all these different dares from drinking the most disgusting smoothies ever. And as they were going through the smoothies, I was just like, of course, every single one has to have a freaking animal in it. Like, of course.
What if they were vegan or vegetarian?
Right? That's what I was saying. I was like, I wouldn't do that because I don't eat animals. So like, are you getting pegged the point? Like, if you don't eat animals and you just don't want to consume like bull testicles.
But Bennett was like, oh, that's okay. It's got chicken.
He's like, oh, I'm used to this. We eat caviar and all this stuff. And caviar,
like, I'll drink this.
It can't get worse than this. The rich people are always doing some freaky ass shit.
It's like, I'm used to smoothies. We don't have time for a sit-down dinner. We just put everything into a smoothie.
Bull testicles. That's a delicacy.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
Do you know how expensive bull testicles are? This is nothing. But yeah, so that was crazy. And then there was another part, the craziest part, where they had to pick up a phone, go over the intercom, and spend 60 seconds making sex noises. Needless to say, it was absolutely ridiculous.
It was.
I think my favorite part was Blake when he was doing all this drama, and the guys were like, oh my god, Blake needs to go to church. He got some demons. The way that he was making sounds, it was like, what is wrong with you?
Her friend was like, if I would hear that in another room, I'm calling.
She was like, no, Becca said I wouldn't take any of these guys to the fantasy suites after hearing that. She'd be like, okay, now I know who to mark off because they creeped me out and they're kind of weird. Yeah.
And the other guys were hearing them like, what the heck is going on? What are those noises? They're like, ah!
Oh, it didn't sound like that, but yeah, the guys are at the pool and all of a sudden they're just like, what is this sound coming over the intercom? Also, who allowed Kenny to call her T? None of the guys have any nicknames for her, but Kenny for some reason calls her T.
Hey T, what's up?
He was like, oh, T. I'm like, so you like tea, eh? And that's the British way. Our tea is just tea. We don't have any of that other fancy stuff. Tea is tea. What flavor is it? Tea.
He was like, hey T, what's up? Yo.
That's Kenny for you.
That's that ghetto in him.
That's Kenny for you. Don't know where he got that from, but okay. So after all the guys embarrassed themselves and stuffed hot peppers in their mouth and then proceeded to propose to her, which was interesting.
Yeah, because their mouth was burning. They were crying and it was burning. And they're like, oh,
she's like, oh, the guys are just
marry me. And she's like, yes.
The guys are just really emotional because they're proposing to me. No, they're really just crying because they're in pain from eating these hot peppers. But it's okay. It's funny.
That could give you ulcers.
Not just from eating one. You would have to have like extensive exposure, I think, to heat to produce that effect.
I wonder if they had to get tested to see if they had like ulcers or
check their right.
Yeah, because if you have ulcers and you eat one of those things, that could make your ulcer explode.
Well, they probably just the guys probably at that point could have just been like, hey, I have this thing and I can't eat that, and it's for my ulcers. And they would have been like, oh, okay. You know, like how Ed got out of the wrestling match by saying he messed up his shoulder. A guy could have just been like, oh, I can't eat the hot pepper because I have ulcers. It would aggravate my ulcers, and then they would just not do it. The proposal they focused on the most seemed to be Bennett's. I see a lot of...
Because he was all in it.
Right? I see a lot of emphasis being provided on Bennett, and I can't tell if it's because he's like a serious contender or if it's because of the drama that's about to ensue. So they're putting a lot of airtime on him and Noah. I'm not really sure. Can't tell if it's supposed to be a good edit or an edit for drama. Because as you can see coming up, jumping ahead, there's going to be that 2-on-1 with Bennett and Noah because of a lot of the drama back and forth going between them.
Bennett and Josh.
Yeah, Bennett and Noah. So there's going to be like some emphasis on that. So yeah, I can't figure out his edit quite yet, but I guess we'll find out in the next episode with the 2-on-1 where exactly that's going to stand.
Yeah.
Typically, though, the ending guy is not involved in a lot of drama, so I can't see Bennett being the final one. The only person who's had the most cleanest edit at this point is probably like Evan, Zach C, or the guy who she had the first one-on-one with, Brendan.
I thought it was Ivan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ivan.
You said Evan, and I thought of that guy from
Erectile dysfunction specialist. Not him. Ivan. I could see it being like maybe Ivan, Zach C, or Ben or Brandon. Brendan, one of those four.
I don't see Ben going that far.
I don't know. I think he can't just because of another one of my favorite parts of the episode. After the group date.
Emotional.
Yeah. After the group date, Tayshia gives the group date rose to... Who did she give the group date rose to? She gave it to...
I thought it was Ben.
Did she? No. She didn't give it to Ben.
Well, she started saying Ben.
She gave it to Blake? No, she gave it to Zach. I'm sorry. She gave it to Zach. The group date rose went to Zach. They had a little hot tub moment and they connected.
Oh, yeah.
And he explained why he has his walls down. She gave the group date rose to Zach C.
Yes.
Zach C. Moving on. So the next part of the episode, it's like 2:00 in the morning. So what do you do at 2:00 in the morning? You go search for the Bachelorette. I am 100% convinced, obviously, that the producers had everything to do behind both Ben and Zach C going to search for Tayshia at the exact moment. Like, who else is going to convince two guys to go to see Tayshia at 2:00 in the morning? Not Zach. Oh my gosh, I'm like blowing every character. It's a TV show. Every character's name. Ed. Both Ed and Ben attempt to see Tayshia at 2 a.m. and Ben makes it to her room, obviously because he needed the time, because he was a fool. He didn't see her on the group date, so he had to make the time. He made it to Tayshia's room successfully. Producers did not want Ed making it there. Instead, they said this is a perfect gag moment for him to go see Chris Harrison, which made me laugh the hardest I've laughed in a very long time. When he knocked on the door and Chris Harrison answered the door like, hey, what are you doing here? No He's Tayshia like, here.
He's like, yeah. What are you looking for? I was looking for Tayshia's room. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to come in?
Yeah, it was funny enough, the fact that he didn't end up at Tayshia's room. Even funnier, the fact that Chris Harrison actually invited him in. And then they were drinking a glass of wine together. And he's like, yep, didn't see my night going this way. Was 100% convinced that Tayshia was supposed to be dating you, but okay. He's like, yep, having a good night? Okay.
That was hilarious.
And he's like, yeah, they had the weird conversation about Chris knocking or not knocking when he comes into the room to bring in the date cards. So I'm going to be watching out on the next episode. Does Chris Harrison knock or not before he enters?
He used to knock, but lately in the past season, he knocks for the women.
Yeah, he said he just barged in.
It's the Bachelor. But now for the Bachelorette, he just barges in.
He just barges in.
They're just guys. It's nothing I haven't seen before. I got the same thing.
Yep. All right. Here's the date card. That was funny. And then obviously Ben redeems himself. They play The Floor is Lava. I'm sorry. No, that was Ivan. I'm so all over the place. I'm sorry. Yeah. So Ben and Tayshia talk. He gets Tayshia to forgive him for being a fool. He orders a thing with champagne and some strawberries. I noted that for some reason
she loves champagne and strawberries.
Yeah, for some reason Ben thought it was acceptable to drop the strawberry directly into the champagne, whereas Tayshia carefully placed it on the glass. Let it be noted, Tayshia, he is not the classy man that Bennett is. Bennett would know that you do not drop the strawberry in the champagne. You put it on the edge of the glass. Okay.
Bennett would have put his and hers edge.
He would have placed them both.
Here you go, honey.
And lit a cigar. Just saying.
Let's just sit next to the fireplace and drink our champagne.
Exactly.
In front, laying on a furry rug. Robes on.
Exactly.
That's Bennett.
Ben did not have a robe.
No.
So -2 points. Also, you didn't put the strawberry on the rim of the glass. Minus another point.
Mm-hmm. No class.
But it's okay. Tasha still forgived you.
Tasha must have looked and went, nope, he's done. Gotta go.
So Ben was like, yep, I got exactly what I came here to do. He redeemed himself. And now we move on to the cocktail party, aka the drama of the episode. It took all the way to the end of the episode to get to the drama. And here it is. Are you ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
Are you ready for this?
Noah decided to craft in his mind, and I don't know where he got this from. Like, seriously, you want to talk about pulling at strings or grasping at straws? This is the definition of what Noah did tonight by stating that some of the men question her because he received the rose from the group date for jumping a fence.
Mm-hmm.
It take like 5 seconds to soak this in. And we want to know what mental acrobatics and how much working out he had to do to jump that far to get to that. I was like, what? And do you see Tayshia's face when he was saying that to her? Like, she was so angry. You could tell because the lips. She did that thing with the lips.
She's like, are you serious?
Pissed.
He's like, I'm totally being honest with you right now.
You're
lying.
He ruined her night.
He ruined her night. He ruined all the guys' night. It was a lie. If it was
a lie.
If it was the truth, he's such a schemer.
I know. Did you see when she came into the room after that?
I know. She was livid.
And she said that to the guys. And then she said she'll gladly walk them out.
Yeah.
And then she left the room. And Noah was just like smiling the whole time.
Yes.
Devious.
And
man.
they were like, okay, she was fine until now. Who was the last person that spoke with her? Like, seriously, who? And they're all looking at each other. And then Bennett looked at Noah. And then Noah was like, I was. What the heck happened? I don't know. The night was going fine, and then all of a sudden, just...
Noah said that the only thing he told her was that the guys saying that he got the rose as some sort of show or something like that.
For cause drama.
Like, and that's questioning her integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, what, where, who, why, how? Like, how do you come to this?
None of the guys said that. None of them. All they said was, you broke into our date and pretty much stole our rose.
I mean, they were all mad at him for going to the date, but nobody
did not question her integrity on giving him the rose.
He is so manipulative.
Very.
You know why? Because, like,
he's playing her like a little fiddle.
Exactly. Because he knows she already has this thing, like, you know, coming in, feeling a little uncertain because the previous Bachelorette there, he preyed exactly on, like, her fear, which is, you know, the guys questioning her after the whole Claire incident and everything and her integrity being questioned.
He is using it like a toy.
Nobody's questioning your integrity. And as a matter of fact, I'm certain that if any of the guys would have said anything along the lines of them questioning her by giving Noah the rose, one of them would have slipped up and said it to her when they were talking to her.
Yep.
I guarantee it.
Yep.
So.
They would have. And when they went to the rose ceremony, because at that point, nobody else got to talk to her because she just cut the cocktail hour short. I would have thought that one of the guys would have stepped out and said,
Me too.
Hey, before you start handing out these roses, I just want to let you know that nobody, and all the guys would have said it, and then she would have looked at Noah like, what's going on? But if one of the guys would have just said, hey, we never question your integrity, we know why you're here, and we're here for the same reasons, and we would never do that to you. We would never play on your emotions that way. And all the guys would have said yes, and then Noah would have stood there like an ass.
Yeah, I was actually surprised when she walked in and made that big thing that none of the guys said that they don't question her integrity. But, you know, Riley made a big thing about not speaking for the group, so nobody will ever try to step up and speak for the group again, okay? And
yeah, but that was one thing that somebody needed to stand up and say.
At the same time, though, I can see, like, who is it that said it? I think it was Chasen who said it. Mind you, Chasen, who they did super dirty last episode, and I still have nothing against him, don't think he did anything wrong, who got sent home this week, said that, you know, it is what it is, and she will see who he is next week. It's going to come out. Trust me. Yeah. He was like, she's going to find out who he is, and, you know, it is what it is, pretty much. If she sent somebody home, this is my thought process, because I was like, well, if I was in her shoes and she was like, and she really did believe what Noah said, then it's going to make her think, like, who would say something like that? And she's going to end up sending home the people she thinks she has the least connection with, who don't really know her enough that they would say something like that. So she probably sent home who the weakest connections were anyway, or who she questioned the most anyway. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to really affect her journey, but obviously she's going to end up finding out who Noah is.
He played on her emotions, knowing that she's fragile in that part.
Yeah, but she'll figure that out.
And that, I hope so. I really hope so. And I hope that when she does, she puts him in his place, because to do something like that, that's low down dirty.
Yeah, I think so. I think she'll figure it out.
That is
for
low
sure.
down dirty.
Yeah, because who was it that wasn't Bennett? Bennett was having the argument with Noah, and then they have that whole 2-on-1 situation next week. So obviously, the way I see it, she might send both of them home. I'm not sure, because she was like, when they showed the preview and she was sitting down with Noah and Bennett, and she was like, so this is what's been going on with you guys in the house, like just this petty arguing back and forth, and she might just send them both home instead of keeping one and the other over the other. She might just be like, you know what, you're both childish, and I'm sending you both home.
I hope so. I hope she doesn't keep Noah around and send Bennett home. Because that wouldn't be right.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I would have like the greatest moment ever if she just sent them both home.
It would be.
It would be the moment I've been waiting for. It would be
like the moment in history of Bachelorette
that
they would send the two people that cause drama.
Right.
Home.
Forget that 2-on-1 where one stays and the other goes. You know what? Forget it. You're both going home because you're both drama and you're both immature and nobody else here has a problem.
But
so,
you know how the producers are. They're going to be like, you shouldn't send both of them home. You should just send one home and maybe everything will calm down and you'll have that connection with one of them. So whoever you have that connection more with, you keep them around and send the other person home.
What if I decide I don't have a connection with either of them?
You still gotta keep on.
No, because she's gonna send someone home in the rose ceremony anyway. So what does it matter? It's like Peter when he did that stupid 2-on-1 with the two girls. He sent the one girl home and then he sent the other girl home at the rose ceremony. Like, what the hell was the point of that?
I know.
You might as well just send them both home. Exactly.
So when she sent the people home, as she was giving out roses, here's Bennett like kind of freaking out, thinking he's not gonna get a rose, and he's like, oh, I thought I was here to find love, not breastfeed Noah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that comment he made.
Oh, my God. That was hilarious. I was
okay,
laughing.
Bennett. Really? You want to go so far as breastfeed?
I thought this was the Bachelorette, not the Babysitter Club.
I was like, oh, my
and
gosh.
then when she made that comment and left, Ed made it very clear that he's going to be on Noah like white on rice.
Did he say white on rice?
No, I did.
Oh, I was going to say, what? He said white on rice? Okay.
No, I did. I said it. Because that's how he's going to be on him. He's like, I'm going to be on you.
I'm going to be down your throat. You'll never be able to forget me.
Yep. I'm going to just be at you every moment I can get.
So now we have a love triangle between Noah, Bennett, and Tayshia because Noah may be more invested in his relationship with Bennett than Tayshia. We have Ed, who might be more invested in his relationship with Chris Harrison than Tayshia. Like, what is happening this season? We don't know, but we can't wait to find out.
On the next Bachelorette.
That's how the episode ends.
There's going to be some drama next week.
Yep, there's going to be some drama next week. We'll see what happens with that. My prediction, we don't have to say pre, we can just say prediction. My prediction is that Tayshia will send both of them home because they will both show themselves to be immature people. And I want to know if Bennett is really going to say in front of Tayshia, Noah, there are 4 levels of emotional intelligence and you lack 3 of them.
Well, when he said that to him, he was like, why don't you say that when Tayshia's sitting here? I would say that in front of Tayshia. I would say that in front of everyone. I don't care. I would say it.
Then I want to see it.
I want to see it.
Don't be all talk and no show, Bennett. You're not the first person to say they would say something and then they don't do it. Okay?
Bennett.
I would have more respect for you if you do it, Bennett. Don't insult his intelligence, Bennett.
I like Bennett.
Seriously, the more that we see Bennett, the more he is a upgrade. I guess I can say upgrade. He's like John Paul Jones part 2.
Yeah.
Even the way he says Tayshia. Remember how John Paul Jones, he used to put this emphasis on the T-A, Tayshia. Bennett does the same thing. He says, you know what? You're not good enough for Tayshia.
Yes.
There is no world where you end up with Tayshia Noah. Yes, it is so like reminiscent of John Paul Jones, like for real.
He is. He's John Paul Jones, H2O.
He's Harvard John Paul. He's Harvard JPJ.
He's the smart version of JPJ. Like he could cut you with words.
But you know what? If he was truly JPJ, I would have liked to see him do the thing where he drinks the smoothie because then he'd be like, he wasn't going
strong. No, he's the strong version of JPJ.
Remember how he said JPJ is always like
he's always
dry heaving.
He's always dry heaving.
You're right. JPJ couldn't handle the spicy stuff. Remember when she brought them like nachos and they had like a spicy
there
pepper?
Was some spice in there, and he was like, "What? It's okay. It's okay." She's like, "I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I didn't want to kill him with the food."
The part that drives me crazy is that instead of just being like, yeah, I'm sick, I should probably just be alone. He like wants to be sick, but also be on top of you. He's like, oh no, I'm good. Let's kiss. Like what? It's madness. It is actual.
I'd be like, you need
madness.
to go brush some teeth.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of wraps up today's episode. Did you have anything? Did we miss anything? I'm sure we probably missed a ton of stuff because I just jumped around to the parts I found most interesting.
No, I mean, it's almost like we had an episode.
Like we had an episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we had an episode.
Yeah, I had
Don't insult my intelligence, Samantha.
Don't insult my intelligence, Derek. I had a lot of fun with this episode. Yes, it was a good time.
It was a funny episode. It really was.
I smiled. I laughed. I had a grand old time.
We cried.
I felt wholesome. I had a good time. Yeah.
My worries were gone.
Honestly, this episode was the release that I needed for the day to just like chill and laugh and just sip some wine with Chris Harrison, you know, like a once in a lifetime opportunity. That's what this was. Mm-hmm. So we hope that you enjoyed today's episode. We hope that you laughed with us and that you found some of these things amusing as well. As always, we hope that you're staying safe, happy, and healthy, manifesting all things you desire out of life. But hold up, that's not it. If you have not already, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast. We're available on literally pretty much every platform now. As a matter of fact, guess what? Where are we? You didn't think we were there. We're on Pandora. That's right. Pandora. So, you know, you want a little break between your music, you just play some chats and recaps on there and hear us talk some nonsense and put a break between your music if it's needed. And yeah, we're also on YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And make sure you visit our website, ChatstoRecaps.com. That's right. We control all aspects of the internet and music.
That's right.
Just kidding. Not music. Not yet. But I had to say that Blake might give me some inspiration that, you know, I too can make music as good as Blake.
That's right. And I dare Simon say anything about that.
Until next time, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
See you next week.
Amen.